Okay, mate. So, yeah, sorry for a late reply. You know, the last 2 weeks have been absolutely insane. Obviously in Ireland with the weddings and funerals and all that sort of stuff, and then leaving and then travelling. But I'll answer this, and then I'll get to your other stuff down the bottom. So you asked me, do I scan? Yes, I scan. I scan all the charts. You have to sit through. Sometimes it takes hours and hours. You got to sit down and you got to look through all the different time frames. Of course, if you have a paid TradingView account, you can look at two or three or four time frames at once. You know, personally, I don't. I sometimes I have 2 time frames, sometimes I have 3 time frames. It really depends on what I'm looking for and what stage of the market we're in, because at different stages of the market, different things will be happening. Like, you know, at the top of bull runs, you don't see any 3-day apexes. You know, 3-day apexes only happen at certain points after a bottoming period in the market. You know, so there's different periods in the market. I'd be looking for different things, and over time you get to know when to be looking for certain things. But I have 2 or 3 time frames I'll be looking through, and scanning. Yes, you have to sit for hours and scan through all of the charts. You know, so sometimes you might be there in the group, and you know, maybe you'd only make 1 or 2 posts, but those 1 or 2 posts probably came off the back of you know, maybe 1 to 2 hours work, for example, or you know, I don't know how long, but, you know, but it takes a long time to scan through all the charts, and some days you find stuff quicker than others, and some days it's harder to find stuff. It really depends on the market and what the market has given us at that point in time. So, you know, I posted that chart. This is back here on the 28th of August. But yeah, so I posted about TRB and how it looked like great in a 3-day apex. Now, if we go back out there now and look at the 3-day apex, it's still going. It's still fantastic, and it still looks really good. So yeah, you can see that, you know, it was a very good call. It was very good, good insight. I mean, from there alone, it's 250, 270%, depending on where you take it from. Obviously, from the lows down there, it's 350% or whatever. But you can see, you know, it is a beautiful chart. It's a beautiful, beautiful apex. Right? What was I looking for? Well, I'll start here, and then I'll move on to the other one, AKRO. You know, I said it was one of the best 3-day apexes out there as well, and obviously I talked about TRB, how it looked really good. So, well, what to look for? I mean, well, the first thing I like to look at is you know, how far we've dropped. You know, you can see there we dropped 94, 95%. I don't know if I was completely accurate on that. There's other factors you want to take into consideration. I mean, we've broke out of a long-term downtrend right here. This is a long-term downtrend. Boom, boom, boom. You could even tighten that up a little bit and draw it somewhere there. You know, you've got all of this here. You've got here, here. But wherever you draw it, though, you're breaking out here of a long-term downtrend, and you are moving up. And obviously, there's you're moving up into the apex there. Now, it created. See here, this was unable to, some coins had gone to new lows, so the fact that this had held up and created a higher low was a sign, a bullish sign, right? That is a bullish sign to consider. Now the other thing is, we stop hunted here, and we started to retest, and here is the 3-day chart, but we had retest here, and we started moving up. Obviously, now I'm not sure, 8th of August, 28th of August, 28th, yeah, so 28th, you can see right here, that's the 26th. So into this green candle here, the breakup candle, is when you message me, and you can see, you know, even if you had jumped on board there, you know, there's still 150% upside, and it's not done yet. It should move up into next week. The other thing what I liked was, you know, this test pump, right? That was one of the things I liked. The test pump on this was beautiful, and I think if you look back at my posts, I would have talked about that test pump, because AKRO already ran, okay, and it had AKRO had a test pump. Now this had a test pump, which was telling me at some point when it's ready, it's going to start moving up. But I had seen signs in the price action, in the breakout of the trend, the downtrend line, the base, the higher low, the distance between the moving averages. This distance here, right? The fact that we created a higher low and we had retested here, the distance between the moving averages, the fact that the purple moving average had crossed and moved down into price was another factor. The closer that gets to price, the more price will want to break above that. When the purple breaks down, you know, that's an important factor here when there's a cross there, because this will tend to drop sharply into price, and if price can get above that, it can cause big moves. It can cause a recapture of the 200 moving average, and it can cause up movements. You would also have to think here that this volume is increasing. See there? See even there? Like the entire way, of course the entire way it is going down, but you know, this is the first time that it has started to increase, right? You can just see it slightly increasing there. You know, it's slow, but it's subtle. And if you have a trained eye on it and you can see that increase, you have to start thinking, you know, there's volume coming back into this. Doesn't always mean that you're going to get that explosive volume like we did, but that was a clue. Now this is different than AKRO because this was tighter. It was different. AKRO, now I just put this here. This is AKRO here, 3-day chart. Sorry, let me go back again actually. I forgot to talk about the RSI last thing here. So if I just put that there, you can see that we obviously, let's zoom in there. So this was the lowest point since we were back here, right? You know, you can kind of see this pierced into the oversold, pierced into the oversold. From this oversold, look at the big move it had. From this oversold, well, we were starting to move up, and there was clues and signs that it wanted to run. I always say, do not fight the apex. On top of that, the RSI here, you know, it had moved up. It started to get bullish. It had that move down, and any move up, I could see here, any move up at all would have recaptured that 50. And just there on that move before I posted, and then it moved up afterwards. But I think I seen something on the lower time frames down in here. See down in here? Maybe I'll go and look at that. But I knew any move up would recapture the 50, and if you recapture the 50, you can have bullish moves up. Yeah, okay. So so down here, you can see that this is the price, the place that I marked out. But you can see there's a small drop, but this is a long move, and I could see the price wanted. I bet you I posted down here because I seen this head and shoulders. I remember looking at it, but you know, this is a head and shoulders, and it's a breakout of a head and, well, I don't think it had broke out yet when I posted. It was down here, and I anticipated the breakout of the head and shoulders. And if you break out of the head and shoulders, well, once you break up from here, you're in the apex, and you're potentially can go higher. You know, it can start going on a run. And when you've seen all the other factors on the 3-day chart and the other time frames, there probably was some higher time frames as well. Well, then, you know, that led me to believe that this could go on a run. And well, obviously, you know, from here, from inside that head and shoulders, you can see it's up over 200%, 240, 250%. There will be more of these, even if you missed it. But it's absolutely fantastic to see some of these running, because there will be more of them. Now, I also talked about how AKRO is one of the best charts on the market, and you know, that pretty much played out. I mean, it was one of the best charts on the entire market. That's a 370% bounce from there. Now look at this. So what do I look for? Well, you can see that we've moved down, and we are below this first major low. Now the other thing I like to look at to see how far price has dropped. You know, have we dropped enough? Have we flushed out enough longs? Is a good question. 97% down move. Yes, it's fantastic. It's good. It's what you want to see. So from there, we also had this move here. Price stop hunted the lows here, right? We stop hunted the lows and got a big pump. That became a test pump. From that test pump and this deviation below the lows, well, what happened? We moved up into the apex. We failed below the white 100. It didn't hold below it. We got back inside. That was a buy right then and there. As soon as we got back inside that white 100, that could have been a sell right here. But as soon as you go back in, it's good to get back in that trade right there, above. As soon as you recapture the white 100, because that is now back into the apex. And this consolidation in the apex, the cross in the moving averages, like we talked about for TRB, and then this. The drop here down Once you get that cross here, the moving average, the purple, usually drops pretty quick, and you can see it dropped into price. Once you recapture that, that's bullish, and it can push the price higher. So there's differences, but there's similarities. You know, this is a deviation below the lows. It's a failed move lower. Why did this not break and hold below here? If this trend is strong to the downside, why did this not stay lower? Why did it not move lower? It couldn't, and it moved in the path of least resistance, which is to the upside. This is also a pretty fantastic test pump, quite marvelous actually, because then when you've seen this consolidating here, you know, on my end it was probably an easy, like it was an easy call for me to say this is going higher, and unfortunately, like I remember at the time I don't know what I was busy, but I remember posting about it. If there's any one coin that I would like to accumulate in the market, it was TRB, and we were down in here, and whatever reason I didn't do it myself, unfortunately. I don't know, I was busy, I wasn't watching the charts, I should have been more focused on it, and it went up a little bit like TRB. Both similar plays, but both different plays, different types of apexes, but similar structures. Down 94%, down 97%, oversold, test pumps, moving averages, you know, the purple crossing, volume. Well, volume didn't pick up here really, but this was a spike, didn't really pick up, so volume is slightly different. But yeah, there's some things that should help while looking for an apex. There will be many more of these, so it's a good time to make this video.